in VMware today. Okay. So as everyone knows, right, Splunk is a log monitoring tool which captures or the gets the data from the source systems and it will store. Okay, so I haven't shared this in just a second. Hope you are able to see my screen right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all good. All good.
Yeah, all good. So as everyone knows, right, Splunk is a log monitoring tool and it has multiple competitors like ElkStack, and it has some Sumo Logic and SolarWinds Logics. There are some tools basically which are competitors of Splunk. But in the market, right, if you compare the share, right, Splunk and Elk are having the more share than when compared with the other tools. Okay, so we'll just compare the Splunk and the Elk feature wise. Okay, I have put that into some categories. If you see right, there are,
Yeah.
I have categorized as features, setup maintenance, solution, and others. First, we will discuss about the features. If you see the features, right, Splunk and Elk are both are same. Basically, these two does same thing. Like they will collect the logs from the source systems, they will store, and once they store, right, what will happen, they will have some other component, or okay, using that component they will retrieve and we can write the queries and we can get the data, we can visualize. Okay, both are doing the same job when it comes to features. And when it comes to setup and maintenance, no, as Splunk is a proprietary, right, it is easy to maintain basically. So Elk, right, it is a bit challenging. Okay, sometimes, right, the logs won't pump and the queuing will happen, and the modification of the log and all those stuff, right, it is a bit challenging over there. Okay, and when it comes to solution, right, what kind of solution both has? One is on premises, one is SaaS. On premises is something like the Splunk team will install the Splunk in their data center, in their office premises. That is called as on premises. Okay, if you install the Splunk in your on premises, means that is you are installing it in your office. Okay, there is other solution called as SaaS. SaaS is something like a software as a service. What they will do, let us assume like you are having some data. Okay, your solution is present in cloud. Okay, so it is present in AWS or Azure or something like that. Now what you thought, right, I want to capture these logs. For that I will send them to some cloud instance of Splunk. Got it? Here also same, it will support on premises. You can install your Elk locally in your office data center. Okay, where your application servers and all those stuff are there. And it also has SaaS solution. The SaaS will be used like if your solution is present in some cloud. Okay, you can push the data to this. Got it? And there is something like API capabilities, like using APIs also you can fetch the or get the data or something like that. Okay, so when it comes to API and extensibility, right, Splunk has extensive around like 200 plus APIs till now, whereas it does support, Elk also does support this API, but it is limited, it is not comprehensive as Splunk. Plugin support, this is the major game changer here, right? So like why Splunk is famous is, Splunk is famous because of its add-ons. Okay, so if you take the Splunk add-ons, there are around like around like 1,000 plus apps. They are split into DevOps category, IT, machine learning, and there are multiple categories, security. Okay, and Elk also has some plugins, but it is not as vast as the Splunk. Okay, so in Splunk, right, we have some premium apps as well as the free apps. Okay, this is the actually it supports like most of the stuff. Okay, it has, but it is limited. Like recently they have gone with AWS plugin. Okay, for this, right, it has for Azure, AWS, okay, even for networking and all those, right, stuff, right, Splunk has. Components, when it comes to components, right, in this Splunk solution or Elk Stack solution, we have three jobs. One is like collection, means I have to collect the data. That is my first job. Second job is I have to store the data. Third job is search data and prepare some dashboards, right? That's what a log monitoring tool will do now. In the same way, in the same way, in Splunk, right, we have forwarder, which will forward the logs to the indexer. Okay, indexer is a component which stores the data, and search head is a component which will get the data from the indexer and present it to you. Same here, the whatever the job that is being done by the forwarder is done by a component called logstash in Elk Stack. Okay, forwarder and logstash are one and the same. Okay, their functionality is same. I meant to say like the use is same. So in Elasticsearch, in indexer, Splunk indexer, the data will be stored in the indexer, whereas in Elk Stack, right, the data will be stored in the Elasticsearch. Okay, and here in search head, the search head will get the data from the indexer and it will display to you. Here, Kibana is one component, okay, which will fetch the data from the Elasticsearch and it will present to you. You will prepare the dashboard and you will write the queries in the Kibana, okay. And if you come to the next criteria, search, no, both supports search capability. So Splunk supports SPL, okay, whereas Elk supports like query DSL, okay, search processing language, and this is like query DSL. Okay, so both support this queries, but SPL is more comprehensive and you have so many commands. Okay, it will make the job easier for the person, okay, who is writing or developing or something. No, so here, right, Splunk wins the race in SPL and when it comes to apps as well as the like easy to maintain. No. And there is one more feature called as compression. Let us assume like compression is something like whenever the data is stored in the indexer, in this case Elasticsearch, if I pump some 100 GB data on daily basis, Splunk will apply some algorithms and compress the data while storing it. Okay, so if I send 100 GB data per day, when it stores to disk, right, it will come to around like 30% to 25%. Means on the disk, the storage would be something like 25 GB. This is also one of the beautiful feature, and we can't modify any settings in the Splunk. Why? Because this is where the Splunk is famous. If I want to send 100 GB from one or like from 5 servers, my hard disk will be full within like 10 days. No, 1 TB will be utilized if I run the 100 GB. Here, right, it doesn't compress compression. Okay, customer support, as it is a premium app, I mean like it is a proprietary software and we have to buy the license. Okay, so obviously customer support will be good because whenever you purchase a Splunk license, you will be provided with the support also. Okay, you have to buy the support also. Whereas it is okay, good. It is not par with the Splunk because Splunk exists in the market since long time, and out of 100 Fortune 100 companies, right, 90 will use Splunk. Okay, community support, right, here, right, community support is something like where you will Google, no, you will Google and find the answer, no, in that, right, this is better, Elk is better. When cost perspective, right, if you take the cost comparison, no, like per GB per year they will charge around like $2,000 per Splunk, whereas for Elk Stack, right, it will be like only $45 per month, might be like a it will be like around like $500 or $600 per year per GB. So this is the comparison of Elk and Splunk. Okay,
Splunk
the Splunk,
very in that case, right?
pardon?
Splunk looks very expensive compared to Stack.
Yeah. Obviously, the service also will be good, no? Splunk, why it is famous means like the support it provides and the solution, whatever it delivers, right? Even though we have many competitors, like why Splunk is winning the race? Everyone is going for Splunk. And if you see the production systems, right, 95 to 99% will use only Splunk. Yes or no? Even though it
I
is open source, people won't use. Maybe they will be using it for the non-prod environments.
In our office, we are using ELK stack for searching of the data, but Splunk for log data searching.
Okay. So like, is it in prod or for non-prod?
In prod itself.
Okay. So that depends upon the company. Like if it is a business or like a financial company, right? They will go with Splunk one.
Yes,
If it
yes.
is like
We have Splunk only for log data analysis. And till today, I was under impression that Splunk is only for log data and ELK is for searching of the data. So with this discussion, I got to know that even ELK also we will use it for log data analysis.
yeah, both are one and the same. It
Okay.
has three. The job is same, but it depends upon the like your company,
Terminology and technicalities is different.
how you implement, right? How your designer team or your admin team comes to, so because like it is expensive, you know, they want to minimize the cost and they want to provide a proper solution such that there won't be burden on your company, right? So if it is sensitive information, non-sensitive information like telecom or some other stuff, right, where you will have only your UI and there won't be any customer centric data, you can go with ELK.
So you mean to say that I mean, I have a small question here. Like you said, on-premise and software as a service, right? So even if it is installed in on-premise also, do we need to pay $2,000 per year per GB?
Yes, yes, yes,
Is it?
yes,
Even if
yes,
it is on-premise also,
yes,
because we are
yes.
not using their services, right? We are just using their software.
No, no, no. Splunk, right? If you in on-premises, let us assume that I will tell you this use case. Okay, I will challenge you like this. Okay, in on-premises, if you install, okay, you have to pay your storage. In SaaS, I I can like it is very cheaper, no? If you see in my SaaS, no, in my cloud, I will get one 2 TB hard disk or 3 TB hard disk storage for some $50 or $100, which can stand for around like 1 month or 2 months. Yes or
Mm,
no? There, if I
correct.
spend some $100, I will
Mm,
be able to sustain.
okay.
Correct?
Mm,
If I wanted 10 terabytes,
mm,
okay, in cloud I can get within some $200 or $300. I'm just it can't be appropriate figure. Just I'm giving a
correct.
number. If you come
Mm,
to hard like this one, right, on premises. In on premises, if I want to have 10 GB storage means
mm,
I have to invest some amount, right?
mhm.
I have to spend some. I have to buy some 1 TB hard drives. Okay, it's a cluster. No, it won't be one hard disk. No, they will have some. It will be having a cluster. No, like that I have to purchase for 10 or something. Yes or no, which is expensive. So
Okay. Okay.
on
Mm,
on-premise, if I cut my data, whatever the 100 GB I'm sending here, if I trim
mm,
it down to 30
mm,
GB data or 40 GB data,
mm.
Splunk is more efficient on the on-premises only, right?
Okay.
Agree?
Agree.
Yeah.
And you mean to say that software as a service means it is nothing but a cloud service, right?
Cloud instance. They will provide a cloud instance which will be maintained
Mm.
by the Splunk only. So I will here
Uh,
also there is means the Splunk instance means Splunk will take care of storing your data in their data centers. Okay. Okay. Agree?
mm.
SaaS means that,
Oh,
right?
that our data will be there in their data centers.
Exactly. So if
Then
it is a
it will
financial
be a
application,
question of security and
yeah, yeah,
data
yeah,
privacy breach, right?
exactly. So that will also come into picture. So most of
Okay.
the, if you see right, and most of the companies will have on
We'll go
premises,
for that.
whereas
Mm,
non customer centric or non financial
mm.
applications will choose on premise. Sorry, will choose cloud.
Okay. And one more small doubt here, like 200 plus APIs which you have said, it is for what purposes? Like, can you just throw some light on here?
So the thing is like it will have APIs. Like if you want to fetch the data, right, you can use it from
Mm,
UI or you can use it from the backend. You can
okay.
using HTTP request, your post or get method, you can do the job.
Okay. So likewise, you're saying, is it like to fetch some data, we have to use get method, get API kind of thing.
Yes, yes. You will write the
But
query.
we will never choose such kind of option when we are querying the data using Splunk search index, right?
That
I
depends
mean,
upon the
in the search.
So let us assume, right? I have one use case. I have one use case in my CI/CD. Okay, in my CI/CD, I am running some suit. Okay, or you will have some script. Let us assume like you are having one script. In that script, right? What you will be doing, right? You will be counting the number of servers that are present in that
Okay.
particular infrastructure or
Hmm.
some index or something. Okay, you want to count the servers. So you are running some script in the backend. You are running some shell script. Now you got one data. You want to validate that against Splunk. Okay, that job needs to be executed at some night. Okay, during the maintenance. Okay,
Hmm.
after 12 or whatever time.
Hmm.
Okay. Now what you will do? You want to log into the server and you want to check, right? At 12 o'clock.
Correct.
What you will do? You will write a scripted way to get the
Hmm.
count. You will fetch the data and you will trim the value whatever you want. Means like your
Okay.
shell script or Python scripting.
Hmm.
You will extract that number and you will put
Hmm.
that in report. Like ideally you should have this one, or you can call it as a health check.
Health check kind of report. Hmm.
Yes, yes, health check. In that health
Hmm.
check, right? If I call this API, it will give me the count. No, clear? Any doubts? Hmm? Just I will share the screen again. So I will come with from first. Okay, I will come from first on installing the application. Splunk. Uh, just a second. For development also, like you need to understand one thing. Okay, even if you are going to for the first development, first you should understand something like there will be one source application. Okay, okay, you will have some Linux operating system. Okay, and it will have some application. Okay, it is having some application. There will be some logs called messages. Where log messages is the OS specific log, and there is something like application. There will be logs which are specific for some application like app/abc.log. Okay, this will be generated in one of the hundreds and thousands of servers. Okay, in an organization you will be having multiple servers, right? This is just a sample. Here I can have 5 logs or 6 logs. In OS also I can have like 1 or 2 or 10 logs. They may be at the same place or in different directory. My goal is to send the logs to Splunk indexer. So indexer is a component I just showed, right? Indexer is a component which will store the data. So it won't have any DB like MongoDB, Oracle DB, or like NoSQL or RDMS. Splunk doesn't have any DB. It will store the data in the flat files. Okay. So mostly it is a directory only. It is a directory basically. Okay. Now, if I want to send data, right, I have to install some software called as Universal Forwarder. Splunk will have two softwares. One is like UF, Universal Forwarder, and here I will be having Heavy Forwarder. Sorry, not this. There is one more component called Heavy Forwarder, but this is the indexer basically. So Universal Forwarder will send the logs to the indexer, and the same will be stored in something like a bucket. Okay, where the like you will have some table in database, right? Or you will have some in a database. Whenever you install an Oracle, right, you can create multiple databases. Yes or no? Like database 1, database 2, database 3, and database 4, which will further contain some tables. And the table contains rows and columns, right? In the same way,
Correct.
Splunk also,
Schema.
yeah. Here, right, there won't be any tables and all those. It will have only directory. You can assume like for that particular piece of logs, whatever are for this machine, no, there will be one index. So index, if I have ABC, right, then there will be a directory called ABC. Okay, if I create a database called index called ABC, means in the backend there will be one directory called ABC that will be created, and the data will be stored. Whatever I'm sending here, right, that will be stored in the ABC folder in a compressed format. Okay, it will have only two softwares. One is Universal Forwarder, and one is like Enterprise Edition. Okay, and one more thing, right? So actually, Splunk has multiple components. I don't want to confuse you, like deployer, heavy forwarder, okay, license manager, and all those search it. I don't want to confuse you. We'll learn when we are going for the admin classes. For now, right, it will be only one universal forwarder and one indexer. This is for a demo of showing the logs being sent to here, but for our lab purposes, we will have some sample log that is being generated by that is given by the Splunk. We will be having some labs on that only. Okay, now we will see
And Vikram,
installation of,
I have a small doubt here. Like
yes,
being a developer, I mean, only the developer role. So usually people don't have the access to check the index related folder, right?
yeah, that depends upon the company. So if you are working for an MNC,
Hmm.
okay,
They won't
so
do.
they will have Splunk developer and Splunk admin
Hmm.
separate.
They'll
But
clearly separate they'll separately distinguish the roles and responsibilities.
exactly. But if you go to a startup company or like a
Yeah,
company
yeah,
which
yeah.
has like,
As you said on Friday, the developer and admin will be one and same.
yes. So the roles will be same.
Okay. Because I haven't seen this kind of index related folders in any of the server. They usually give one URL and
Ah,
with some
that's what.
credential. So we use it to log into that page, and using the search bar, we use it to search the logs.
So admin will only enter here. Okay, till the data reaches. This is admin's job. Developer job is like once the data comes, right. Once the data is present, right, admin will start pulling the data and analyzing the data.
Mm.
He will only do this job. He will write queries and all those. He want to maintain. So that also depends, like if it is how it will happen, right? If it is a small scale, big enterprise, initially there will be a Splunk team, like Splunk recommended team or something. They will be coming and doing your job. They will be establishing this. They will be creating the setup and they will go. After that, right, you have to maintain it. That
Yeah, yeah.
depends upon the license
One
and
of the
all
team
those.
member, one of the team member will be taking care about the admin role, and rest of the
Yes,
people will be the normal developer.
yeah. Even that there will be there is some premium support I told, like
Mhm.
support. After that support, right, if you want, you can maintain those servers. Okay, actually, this is a sample application which I have created, but not sure. Like in the next class, maybe we'll integrate. So actually, I have my lab in my VMware. Yesterday, I have installed in my Google Cloud, but today, right, I have multiple machines which I have opened one application, okay, and one indexer. So this is my application. So yeah, same thing. I've installed one website over here. Okay, this is something like a static page website which runs on HTTP server. Okay, but tomorrow, right, your end goal would be like you will be able to see the logs there. For now, right, cd slash.
Does Splunk has any archival policy related information, Vikram? How many days it will support, or it is again org specific?
No, it will like based on based on the retention policy you need, based on the hardware policy you have.
Okay, okay. Based on the space that we have for that particular thing,
Yeah, like
our logs retention. Okay,
so like there will be some financial transactions for credit cards and all those, right? For those, right, you need the data to be archived. For there will be some standards like they should have some data for last 10 years.
oh my God, 10 years data. Hmm.
7 years, 10 years, they will have the data. In production, you can see the data. You can fetch the data for last 2 years or 3 years. If any
And it
fraud
will be
happens,
a huge cost orientation.
huh?
Then it is a lot of cost will be involved, right? In that case.
The two things, no? Splunk will you will pay only for getting the data. Means you are like whatever the data that gets collected from the source, right? For that
Hmm.
only you will pay to the Splunk. So the
Okay.
storage is your cost. You won't like even if you have hard disk these days, right? The hardware is cheaper.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
So if you want to store it for 6 months, you can store, or you can store it for 1 year. You can store based on your capability. Means the log. Let us assume like per day you are getting only 1 GB log or like 5 GB log. Okay. For 365 days, you can easily calculate, no?
Okay. Okay. So storing the data after from the application after Splunk analysis has been done is in infra cost of the company, whereas
Yes.
fetching the data from the application using Splunk is the actual cost involved.
Yeah. Cost involved for the license.
Correct.
So for
Perfect.
storing the data, you won't. They
They
won't.
won't charge. It is
They
our
won't.
cost actually, company's
Yes.
cost.
Yeah. That's why in order to as it is reducing that cost, right?
Hmm.
It is bit famous. The its own algorithms. It is storing the data, right? Means like compression is like if you see something like I'm getting generate and I'm generating 100 GB data, but while storing, if it is storing some 30 GB, right? If everyone will be interested in that solution, right? It is not adding, it is compressing the existing stuff.
Oh, it will not add directly as is the data generated. I
No,
mean,
no,
the
no.
size of the data generated in the application.
That's what I was saying. So
Okay.
here, if it generates some 100 GB
Hmm.
per day,
It will compress and it will send it to the Splunk indexer.
here while storing, right? When it stores this complete 100 GB log, it will be like 40 GB.
Okay.
It is much lesser, but I'm giving the maximum. Because if I use say something like 20 GB or like if I say something like 30 GB, right? People may ask question why. So that compression will vary based on the type of the data which you are sending, right? So this is like 40% is like too much. What I'm giving it will be like 30 or 25 to 30, 35. 40 is the
Hmm.
upper limit.
Hmm.
So that's why everyone will prefer Splunk.
Got it. So such kind of mechanism we can't find it in ELK, right?
Yes, you can't find it. But this much compression, and there will be something like app support. So the
Hmm.
Splunk can be integrated to multiple apps.
Hmm.
Like it can be like
That
Jenkins.
you said, right? Correct. Hmm.
Yeah. So it can be integrated with any of the stuff, any of the component. Okay. So
Got it.
so actually this is a sample application which I have created. So this is my sample application. And if I click on something like shop, and if I click on this add to cart or stuff, something, right? Then you see the log is getting added, right? So I would perform this operation. This is basically a get operation, and there is a success code and the IP of that URL of that application. Got it? So like not, I don't have time today. Maybe like tomorrow, right? What I will do, right? I will send these logs on a fly to the Splunk. Okay. First today, right? I will install the Splunk. I think how many of you attended the? How many of you didn't attend the last class?
I almost like 30% of the session I was there. After that, I have been disconnected.
Others, can you comment?
I did not attend.
Okay, then fine. Then fine. So what I will do, right? Actually, I will explain this architecture within. Actually, Splunk architecture will be something like this much bigger. So the indexer, whatever the component which I'm doing for development, right? This is only this component which I'm installing now. Okay, Splunk will have multiple components like search head, indexer, and universal forwarder, heavy forwarder, deployment server. Okay, there are like multiple components, but for now we are discussing only on the indexer. This indexer will store the data and it will have a web UI also to search the data. Okay, so this rest of the part we'll see in later class. Basically, if you see, right, I told in the earlier class itself, like there will be something like a universal forwarder. Okay, if you see, right, there is something like a universal forwarder. Basically, this universal forwarder job is to send the logs from your applications to the indexer. It is the place where data will be stored. Okay, hope it is clear now. The universal forwarder will be installed in your application servers. In the
It's a kind of
application,
agent.
it's an agent basically. It will be of 30 or 40 MB that will be running in your source application. Previously, right, they used to install the same Splunk software here in earlier versions, but it used to have that overhead on the Splunk server as such, on the application as such. So what they did now, they created one component called as universal forwarder, which is a lightweight program, and this will send the data to the indexer. Okay, in initial days, right, it was different story, but now universal forwarder. So if I Google, I'll just log in and I will share the screen. Okay, this is the universal forwarder. Okay, and so this is the enterprise edition, means this is the server side configuration or server side software. Okay, it will be something like the compatibility is for Windows, Linux, and Mac. It supports 3 operating systems. Windows, in that Windows 10 and Windows Server 2016 and 19. In Linux, there will be like three installation. One is star based installation, one is Debian, and one is the RPM. Okay, and Mac, it supports something like ZZ and DMG. Okay, maybe this is the like a package model for packaging for the Mac. When it comes to client side, right, it supports multiple operating systems. It supports Windows, Linux, Solaris, Mac, and AX. In Windows, the same story, like it supports Windows 10 and server editions, and basically the Windows 10. In Linux, right, there will be like multiple architectures like ARM and like V6, okay, and some other stuff, and 64-bit operating system. So for us, right, we will be using this one. Okay, all the kernel distributions are 2.6 plus, right? So we'll be using this Okay, it supports Solaris also. It supports both Spark as well as the normal operating system, and it is the Mac and AIX, HPAX, I think. This is HPAX. It's of course like this covers like 90 to 95% of the 97% of the operating system, 97 or 98. If you are installing your application, you will be running on the same operating systems, no? So what we will do, right? If you want to download this application, no, what I will do, right? I have to click on the Enterprise Edition, that is like 8.1.2, and here, right, whenever you are downloading, right, index 500 MB per day as part of your server installation or Enterprise Edition installation. You can send 500 MB of data per day. Okay, and the validity of this one would be something like 60 days. Validity of this license, whatever you are downloading and installing, no? Once that gets completed, no, just delete that folder and extract the same file. That will be sufficient. No need of downloading again. Just delete that folder and create again. You will get another 60 days. Okay. So what I will do, right? I will click on Linux. Okay, this is and it is something like 400 MB. If I click on download now, right, I will be getting something like wget command. Using this wget command, I have to download. Means if I click on this one, no, try this URL, what will happen, right? This Splunk Enterprise Edition will be copied to my local. I don't want to copy it to my local and then install, like move that to my VMware. So what I can do, right? If I am connected to internet, I can execute this command and directly fetch the, I can get the package. So what I will do, I will click on this one. This is an indexer. Okay, IP-A cd/opt. This is the place where you will install Splunk. So here there are two folders, one folder and one this Splunk package. What I will do, right? I will remove rm-rf Splunk I'm deleting the file, and I have to stop the Splunk before deleting the Splunk, right? I have to stop the Splunk. If my requirement is to like delete the Splunk, first I have to stop the service. opt Splunk/bin. In that I will be having the scripts. So Splunk. So if I give Splunk stop, right, then it will shut down the Splunk. Once the service is shut down, we can stop it and you can start. Okay. Now the Splunk is stopped. Okay. Now I am coming from the directory cd/opt. I am giving the Splunk. Okay. I delete the folder pwd, and what I can do, right? I can issue the command wget. Now what it will do, right? It will download the package from the internet. Rather than I copying to my local and again copying to this VMware, no, this wget will download the package wherever you want. Maybe in server editions of Windows, right, wget will support. Not on Windows 10, but server editions will support wget. 2016 and 2019. Now I have downloaded my Splunk. Installation is simple. tar-zxvf Splunk. That's it. Extracting the file. That's it.
This has to be done on the OPT folder, in the OPT
Yes,
folder.
exactly.
Or
This is
OPT
the
folder.
default folder for the Splunk. You can
And
install it
what if you're using something like Mac or something?
everywhere. You will have. Won't you have OPT in Mac?
I doubt. I don't think we have
It
an
is a
OPT.
Linux, right? It is a
No,
Linux based terminal only, right? Kernel
It
is
is Linux,
Linux.
but I don't think we have an OPT. I'll have to check.
Yeah. If it is like related to Linux kernel, you will have. Okay, but you can install it on root or anywhere. That doesn't matter. But in companies, they will install it in OPT.
So you can install it anywhere, but generally,
Yeah,
I mean, okay.
recommended to install here. Okay, this will extract the folder called Splunk cd/opt Splunk, and I will go to the bin.
Start.
So here I will be having all the like scripts. Okay, I can use something like Splunk /Splunk start. Okay, if I give directly, right, I will be presented with this page. Means like I have to update what to say. I have to give my like a terms and conditions page will be there, right? License page
Mhm.
that will be presented. So in order to bypass that, right, I can give hyphen accept hyphen license. I can give the username and password here, right? I will be creating the WebUI username and password which I want to log in from console. Okay, I'm creating a user called admin. So this is I'm re-entering the password. Okay, now okay, something happened. There is some error. Okay, let's see. Okay, if you see here, no, there will be multiple ports basically for Splunk. One is like HTTP. For WebUI it is 8000, and management, right, in order to communicate with other components, right, it will use 8089 port. So for web, right, I have to use HTTP port 8000. If I want to access Splunk, I have to put this port. If I give directly, it won't work. To give 8000, then only I will get the UI. Okay, now what we will do, right, we will try to load the data into the Splunk. For that, right, there are two approaches. One is like if you have some configuration set in your application where you are installing the universal forwarder, right, then we can send the data from your source system to here like this. Okay, so where you have this software universal forwarder, for our development practices, right, we don't require these things, right? For us, prerequisite is something like the data should be present here. So if you load the data here directly, any log file if you have, that should be sufficient. So for that, I'm clicking on settings, clicking on add data. I'll just select the file. Okay, skip. Okay, now I will be in this one. How I went? Settings, add data. Settings, you have to remember settings and add data. If I click add data, then I will be presented with upload button. I have to click on upload. Settings, first step, second is add data, and third one is upload. If I click on upload, right, I'll have to select my file. So basically I will select my file. Just a second, I will stop the screen share. So this is my file. Okay, I'm selecting the access log and the file is being uploaded. Okay, now I will click on the source type. Okay, the source type and all that we'll discuss in the admin classes. Okay, source type is something like what is the type of log, whether it is a Apache Tomcat log or a web server log, or it's a DB log, or it's a JSON, or it's a kind of networking traffic. Okay, those are the source types. Now I will click on the next. Okay, now I told all the data will be stored in some component called as indexer. In that I will have something like an index. In my index I will store my logs. Here also as I am loading the data, I can create an index. I have to create one index over here which will store that log file. Okay, I will put it as test1. This is my test1. I'm clicking on save. So if I go to backend cd/opt splunk /var splunk. This is the directory where the data will be stored. Okay, indexer will be stored. So there is nothing called like test1 over. Oh, okay, it's got created just now, right? You see,
Mhm.
when I give the test1, right? When I create new index, when I give no, automatically it created. That is present here, no? CD test1. So it is just 8 KB. Okay, data is not loaded, only metadata is there, which is like 8 KB of size. Okay, now I am clicking on review and submit. Okay, now we'll see when the data is being loaded here, right? If you see, the data is 3 MB, but if I compare the data actual size of the file, no,
500.
just a second, just a second. Okay, this is the file which I have downloaded or uploaded. If you see this one, right, this is like 4.6 MB. Okay, but when the data is stored in the indexer, it is 3 MB only. Means some compression is applied. As this is a big small file, right, you won't see much difference. So there will be some data that should be there by default, whenever you create an index, so that will occupy some space, but it will be comparable when you have some 100 GB or like 5 GB or 10 GB of data. Even now, right, it is something like out of 4 GB, 1 GB is being, sorry, out of 4 MB after
20,
compressing, right? Yeah,
20,
20% or something is being,
25.
yeah, but it will have some default directories and all those stuff, right? You will see this when you ingest a large data. Okay, but one thing you have to remember is it is applying some compression mechanisms.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I can close this one. Yeah, this is the Splunk UI. Here, right, this is the search bar where you will be writing the queries, and there will be some, this is called as a time picker basically. So the time picker is used to select the time period of the data, like whether it is like last 60 minutes or last 15 minutes, or if it is from a specific duration. So this one will discuss tomorrow. Okay, just I'm giving a heads up for this, so we can select like before, after, something like that. Okay, so we'll see like how the data is being parsed and all those, right, in next class. And this is called as the metadata. So whenever the Splunk picks the data from the like universal forwarder or somewhere, right, anywhere, post is something like who is sending the data.
It
Okay,
means from which particular application or which particular server.
server name. This is the server name.
Okay.
Okay, source something like the actual log file name. What is the source of the application? What is the in that particular host? In that particular host, this is my source. Okay, and there will be like multiple types of logs, right? Like it can be something like DB server.
System
It
out
can
log,
be,
system error log, trace log.
yeah, yeah, that is called as source type. This is the log file. What is the log? Access log. What is the log file type? Access underscore combined underscore W cookie. Something like that. These three are the metadata for each and every log snippet. Whenever the Splunk parses the data, it will add a timestamp to it. This is the actual data that is being generated in your Splunk. This is the timestamp that is added by the Splunk. In any case, 99.99% both time will be same. As soon as the logs get generated, the same instant, the same time, the Splunk will also parse the file. Okay.
You have uploaded this data manual approach, right? Using manual approach, right? Not through agent way, right?
Yes, yes. For development, no, we don't
No.
require. For us, right, we just need this.
Data.
Development will start only if you have the data. This is sufficient. In admin course, right, when we take the admin, then I will tell you like how to get the data from there.
And one more thing, like once we install the universal forwarder in the application as an agent, so the universal forwarder will come to know automatically which kind of log files it has to send to the indexer, or that is the admin's role to pick up
Yeah,
which particular file.
yeah. We have to
So
define
it
the
is our
concept.
manual effort, right? It is our manual effort
Yeah,
to choose which particular file we want to add it into the indexer.
it is not auto discovery, so we have to
Okay.
provide the
Okay.
like all the configuration where the log has to go. In my application, let us assume like I am running some Amazon.com. Okay, in my Amazon.com, I will be having some Prime. I will be having some this shopping. I will be having movies. Okay, I will be having some other like Amazon Pay or something like. In the backend servers, I have to instruct them to go to the respective server. Correct or not? If the log is generated from like movies Prime, right? Prime movies, then it has to go to the Prime movie server. Something like that.
And one
So
more
we have
thing,
to put it.
Vikram, like the log message, does it expect to be a specific format from the application, or it will take any particular format of the log message in the from the source?
It's just a software used to collect.
Okay. So whatever it could be.
Yeah, if it won't check, it won't validate. Whatever that gets comes out, it will push. It will send. It won't
I
validate.
mean, why my question was on the same thing is it is one of the guidelines that we have received when we are writing a code in our development, day-to-day development. So they told us some particular format, actually the log format. So we have
That's
to
all.
adhere to that particular format only. So that's why I'm asking, is there
Yeah,
any guidelines that has been defined by Splunk, or it is organization specific?
yeah. The thing is like every log standard will be set for that particular application. Correct? So my software will just send for me. I will just provide the path.
Hmm.
As a Splunk, as I'm installing in my like Splunk in my organization, right? I can't define a role, right? Boss, you send your application in this format. You write your logs in this format. Okay.
It is
As a
ridiculous.
Splunk, yeah. So based on your application standard, you will write your log. Splunk will send. It wants the path. Okay, where is my log? I need to send here to some my destination. What is the log and where I have to send? That is only the two piece of information it will require. It doesn't bother about like what is present in that log. That is defined by the standard. If it is a Tomcat, it will have some specific log. If it is a VAS server, it will have. If it is JBoss, it will be having some standard. The standard will be defined by the application you are running or the application you are building. Yeah, I can take questions. Like we are almost like 9:03, right? I will take questions. That's it for today.
Visualization things in Splunk.
Yeah, I didn't get you.
I'm saying Splunk looks like a very visual tool, right? I mean, there are a lot of interesting visualization tools here.
Yes, yes. Splunk is a visualization tool. So you can like create the visualizations, dashboards, and all those using Splunk. So for the same, for the I'm getting the count. I'm getting the number, no?
That's
Then put
interesting.
it as a dashboard, something like this.
Okay.
So
All right.
visualization is nothing but a graphical representation or calculated way of representing the data, is it? Is it
Yeah, you'll
Vikram?
have some. Yeah. You can put it some if you're having multiple components, right? Or
Can you act? Can we? Are they all predefined templates, or we can rewrite a template also using some other development? We can, I suppose.
you can create your own app.
Fair enough.
Okay, something like here I'm getting some methods. Get method requests are these many and post are these many. Something like that visual representation you will get. This is what developer will write the SPL for getting this information. I can get this bar charts, or I can get something like a pie chart, or I can get some other charts. Oh, not this one. It won't suit, or something like this.
Vikram, using Splunk, can we define metric? I mean, can we extract metrics related to the performance of the application?
Yes, that is possible. It can be integrated with AppDynamics and New Relic and Dynatrace and all those stuff.
Oh,
But that is
we can integrate Dynatrace, is it here?
yes, we can integrate.
I mean, by any chance, are we covering at least 1 or 2 sessions on
So
Dynatrace integration?
no. The thing is like we'll cover some one app or two apps. Okay, considering the time whatever we have, and I have to cover multiple topics, right? So like in that, right, every person will have separate use case. You want Dynatrace, someone will have New Relic, someone will have AWS, something
Hmm,
like that, right? That can't be done. If
correct.
that needs to be done, that should be carried as a separate course, correct?
Hmm.
Because there are 1,000+ odd apps that can be integrated.
Yeah, how many years experience do you have on Splunk, sir?
4. I worked 1 year in healthcare. Since 4 years we are
One
using.
year?
4 years.
No, I like the visualization part of Splunk. That's why I was interested in the course.
This is all
You know,
simple. This is
I
all
was like
simple.
very keen on doing this. I don't have
No,
any specific project requirement, but I really like the tool. I was
the thing.
like,
This is just a
little small.
partial. This is
Huh?
just a partial thing. This is just a partial or a sample. Actually, you
Uh,
can do magics with Splunk. You don't need APM tool also.
yeah, that was very evident, but I needed someone. I mean, I guess the tool's very interesting, so I just wanted to catch up on
Yeah.
the course. Yeah, it looks like an interesting course. Yeah. I mean, this 30 days, right? 30 days is what you're
Yes.
saying, or it
Yes.
could probably say.
Yes. 30 days.
There's an
Can I
admin
stop?
part, developer part. Yeah?
15. So it will be like mostly practical only. I won't take any theory classes. I won't explain like much. I won't spend the time on like explaining or giving notes. Okay. It will
Can
be
you just guide us on the theoretical perspective in the sense like any YouTube video or something that we can see, or any course would you
I will
recommend?
share. I will tell you. I will tell you. Do you have any doubts, or like before that I want to stop the recording?
No, I don't have any more doubts. I just if you can just help us with some theory.
The notes will be provided. Notes will be provided. Okay, that I'm preparing my notes and I will give you. The thing is, like, if you take the theory plus this one, right, it will be clumsy.
Okay, fine. Now I was just trying to understand the
So
theory.
actually, I started one YouTube channel. Okay, so there
Right.
whatever the video I kept right here, whatever the dashboard I kept right in the first presentation, that I
Mhm.
have added actually in the YouTube. So like maybe like weekly once or something. No, I will be adding one video and I will be providing the notes. Like interview questions also, I thought like a short 5 minutes video, like what is Splunk Forwarder, what it does. A short video of 5 minutes would help.
Okay, cool.
And I will give the notes, but only the problem is, right, as part of this Durgasoft, right? So it will be something like I have to type everything and share.
No, I'm
So
not asking for
yeah,
that. I'm just trying to understand. Even if you recommend a single book is good enough, just so that I can
yeah.
just read.
So that I will share. The notes I will be sharing. Like I will be sharing the notes, but only problem for me is, right, this is all configurations. Okay.
No
By
problem.
theory, if you keep our mind on the theory thing, right, if it will mess up the lab. As you have seen, right, if you see the number of components, right, I have are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 machines I am having. You can ignore one, 9 machines I am having. So maybe like we'll be working on 2, 2, 3, 3 or not everything at a time, but it will mess up, no? Because setting up the server before the class will take some time.
Okay. I got to install Linux as well. I have a Linux, but I got to increase the memory on that.
Yeah, not if you are able to do configuration and restart a service, that is more than enough.
No. The thing is, I don't have Linux installed on my system, right? I generally use Linux as just for
You
shell
create a
command.
Google Cloud account. You create a Google Cloud account. You can use the Google Cloud and you can do the lab there also. But why I am not doing on Google Cloud, right, or AWS, right? The problem is like
For that, no?
there will be some practical problems when you do your lab, okay, on your VMware. So I am
Mm-hmm.
preparing for the worst case and I am showing. So in your Splunk setup, there should not be all the instances should not have the same hostname. Everything should be unique. Let us assume like if you do directly lab in AWS or AWS or cloud, no, you won't face any issue. Everything will be smooth. Okay. In your practical session or something, whenever you work on admin part, do you think like you will spin on cloud? No, right? You have to run on your own installed server. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
On premises, if you are installing Splunk, either two cases, they will give you a like DVD or a mount point to install the RHEL or whatever the operating system. On top of it, you have to do exactly correct.
Okay, I have no idea. I'm blind in the code, right? I
So
came
that that
like,
is like very easy.
I,
There is just a simple like just to run, and that is very
yeah.
simple. But whenever in clustering an environment, right, the challenges will come whenever you do it on your VMware or whenever you do locally. The challenges will come. There should not be same IP address. There, every you will get ready-made everything in cloud.
Get it, huh?
So that's
So
why I'm taking, even though I'm having Google Cloud account, I'm taking in this one here because after every class I have to shut down the instance and I have to create an instance.
okay.
If I take a snapshot, no, here I can revert it back. If something lab goes down also, I can revert to the older snapshot and I can create my lab. No, I felt like this is better. If you guys want, right, I can take there also. But switching and all those, right, this is easy. Sometimes the cloud or AWS or Google Cloud may be slow.
Vikram, tomorrow which specific topic we are discussing? We are going to discuss.
Tomorrow, right, I will give a walkthrough on this UI. From tomorrow,
Okay.
I think demo sessions ended, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I think from tomorrow original classes will be there, right?
why? Because the course is 30 days. Okay.
Hmm.
Here, how I am doing, right? If it is a 30-day span, right, I'm drawing a line in between. This is
15 days per admin, 15 days per development.
15 days per admin and 15 days for this development. So they didn't till now, right? They didn't execute any query here. There are
The
some
other batch.
the other batch, right? It is the first
Hmm.
time we are launching in here. No, there is no in prior. There is no batch. I think no one knows like Splunk is there in Durgasoft. This is the first batch. 10 days
No,
back only.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
how the
trained
video.
outside.
YouTube, that's why I came down here.
But I train outside. But the thing is, like, I'm having some decks and all those, but the stuff also will vary, right? How you I have some separated decks for this one. This win and this one.
Okay.
But this is the first time I'm launching here. But some people, I got a feedback like I should not use this PPT and all those. If I draw, people are understanding better. That's why I'm drawing. I have a ready-made PPT also, but that is like that is different. The, here, right? It is just a 30 days, no. So we are covering. Yeah. Okay, boss. So
Any Udemy courses you would recommend apart from your class?
first you
Which would
listen this one. Don't get confused. Yeah? First you listen this one. Later
okay.
we'll see like what is the documentation for you, right? You need to after the class, right? Just to remind me the configuration files, whatever we have done. No,
Okay.
I forget.
Okay.
You can because I have to search for that Udemy, which one is good and all those. So if you go for Udemy, I don't know, but this will be like so. There's two things, right? Whatever you listen, right? If you revisit the same, no, it will be helpful. Even for if you go to Udemy or Pluralsight site or something, Edwin will be 15 days only.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So here also it is 15 days.
Okay. No, but the
So
problem is,
here,
no, the thing is, we don't have access to your videos after the class, right?
why you will be provided
No,
the
no,
Google
no.
Drive.
They are giving recording videos.
They are
Will
okay because one or two courses they were not giving.
no.
So
But for this course, they are giving. It has been there in the email that you received from Durgasoft. So they told that it is includes classroom session, the material, and the videos recorded session.
okay, then it's cool, right? I mean, then it's okay.
They will
So
upload to I think our Google
Right.
Google
Drive.
Drive. So like even like I will ask you like tomorrow I will give my this link. Okay, whenever I get some free time, no, like maybe like 10 videos a month or like something, 5 short videos I will be uploading. That will cover your this theory part.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the same thing whatever I have done, no, this PPT I have uploaded there, but I will be doing that. Previously, initially I didn't think, but I thought to upload. I thought of creating one YouTube channel, which will be helpful. No? Okay, that's it for today.
Thanks, Vikram.
And
Thanks for the nice session.
thanks. You understood, right? So the pace will be same, but if it comes to theory, right, I will be like, I won't get interest also. I don't know, if I take that theory, it will be something like blabbering. I'm not a kind of person who talk a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, using this practical sessions only, we will get to know more into the concept rather than reading and mugging up the definitions. It is required, of course, but
But
more practical sessions give more insights.
yeah, for me, boss, for some US people will be paying for class 1500 per me. They will take one-to-one. These people work on Splunk in prior. Okay, they will work on Splunk in prior and they will do some MS or something like that, right? After 5 years or 6 years, then they want to revisit or they will learn security. So Splunk is closely binded with the security. So if you are to go to security sites, Splunk is must. Those people, what they will do, right? 1 second. Session recording. Session is not recording. So they will be paying like just they will tell like I don't want theory. I'm a admin certified. I don't want theory. Just to teach practical. Because it's a
Okay.
complex architecture. You after 1 month you will forget. So you have to practice regularly. Like AWS or cloud, right? Just if you, do you know AWS or Someone knows AWS?
Yeah,
A
I
very high
have.
level.
You know the toughest part in AWS is creating a VPC only, right?
If you don't work, you will forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. So same
Yep.
here you are having, why it is more complicated over there, because it is a chain of or series of steps, one after
Yep.
other. First you have to create the VPC, subnets, route
Yep.
table, association, and all those. If you miss that sequence, you are gone. In the same way, if you miss the flow, how to integrate the Splunk, you are gone.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Good night.
Thanks, Vikram. Bye. Good night.